You're watching ESPN's Feast Week, presented by Lowe's.
Welcome back to the ACC on ESPN. Getting started for the second half between Duke and Utah State here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. It's the Blue Devils 38 and the Aggies 27. Mike Cousins, Seth Greenberg. A great first half for the freshman from Ohio, Luke Kennard, a game-high 12.
Luke Kennard has been terrific and started with him knocking down that first deep three. Once you see that ball go in, all of a sudden now you can get aggressive. You look to attack. You look to take what the defense gives you. He got to the rim. He made plays for his teammates. All of a sudden, Luke Kennard better understood where his shots were coming from.
It had been a little hairy for him to start the season, shooting just 17% from three, but it's back-to-back games now with 12 after he dropped a dozen on Yale on Wednesday. Allen quickly into the lane and draws the foul just 13 seconds into the second half.
Grayson Allen moves without the ball not as well as any player in the country, not named Trevor Cooney, but Allen does a good job of coming off of this back screen, and then they rescreen for him. He does a great job of curling into the lane. He's big enough and strong enough when he curls to play to contact.
91% from the free throw line. The first is good for the former number 21 player in the country. A guy who was at the tail end of that star recruiting class last year and really made a name for himself right at the end of the season. 2 for 2.
Hey, this is a deep ACC this year. The top of the league. The matchups in the ACC Big Ten Challenge are going to be terrific.
Moore guarded by Jefferson, who had a great first half for the Blue Devils. That's their 5th block of the afternoon. And it's Duke basketball.
Really good job by Emil Jefferson, staying in the stand, staying between the ball and the basket, staying down on the shot fake, walling up and contesting the shot. That's big-time D right there.
He and Plumlee have been so instrumental as leaders on that defense. Allen gets easily to the rim. 13 now for Grayson Allen. 15-point lead. Equals the largest the Blue Devils have had today. Step back inside the arc. No good for Perkins. And it's a loose ball foul as Allen hits the deck hard.
Grayson Allen is a big guard that does a great job of using screens. He comes off that screen, he curls, he's on balance, and he can attack you off the right or with his left hand. But right there, physical play, he lands on his shoulder. Be interesting to see how he responds off of that hit.
Already 2 team fouls against the Aggies. Thumbs up from Grayson Allen. That one charged to Jalen Moore, his 3rd.
Utah State going to that 1-1-3 zone. Look for Duke to try to attack it on the block or on the baseline.
And on the shot clock, Jones on a drive, drops off. Plumlee with a finish.
Critical time right now for Utah State. They need to be poised. They need to be patient. They need to find a way to get a play going at the basket.
7 to shoot. Smith, their leading scorer on the year, into the lane. Ingram hands up. And they get the stop.
Hard to finish over the length of Brandon Ingram. Ingram did a nice job of keeping in front and contesting the smaller Smith.
7'3" wingspan. One of the things, the many things that Mike Krzyzewski loves about it. Jones nails the triple.
Utah State needs a timeout right now. They need to regroup, try to stop the bleeding. Marshall Plumlee, terrific job of recognizing his zone and a great job of interior passing. The key to attacking the zone, don't settle. Dribble penetration, reverse the basketball, get in the lane, draw a second defender. Marshall Plumlee, I'd say that's a high percentage shot.
We welcome you back to Feast Week presented by Lowe's. Duke with its largest lead of the afternoon by 20. My cousin Seth Greenberg, and right now it's a 10-0 run for the Blue Devils going back to the end of the first half. How have they gotten going here in the second?
Coach K's got to be happy with his basketball team. They came out active and alert defensively and aggressive offensively. Good job coming out of the halftime, getting the ball to Grayson Allen on back-to-back curls. And then when Utah State switched defenses, they were patient and poised and attacked that Utah State 1-1-3 zone.
Allen now the game's high score with 13. Kennard and Jefferson in double digits as well. Utah State 0 for their last 5 from the floor. Driving kick to the corner. Smith passed up the 3. Moore will try it. Plumlee, the 7-footer, grabs the board in traffic. Utah State just 1 of 7 from three-point range today. Knew that would be a problem for them coming in, shooting 31%. And it's been worse than they expected.
And every 3 is challenged. And when you don't have a low post player that puts pressure on the defense and forces the defense to scrape down or double, all those three-point shots are going to be contested threes. That's the difference between this year's Utah State team and last year's when they had David Collette.
Collette, the redshirt sophomore, averaging 13 and 5 last year, left the team 2 days before the season. Ingram had it swatted earlier on the possession. This time on the drive, draws the foul, and he'll go to the line.
This is a Utah State team and program with a rich tradition. And Stu Morrill, their former coach, who Tim Duryea was an assistant to, did just a terrific job. It's a great environment at Utah State. They played an arena called the Spectrum. Now, I'm one of the few people, Mike, I can tell you, I've been thrown out of Cameron Indoor, and I've been thrown out of the Spectrum. If you want a little bit of trivia, that's a pretty good one. But the Spectrum, a great environment. Stu Morrill, they dominated the Big West when he was there. They dominated the West Coast, the WAC. And now they've transitioned to the Mountain West.
Grayson Allen keeps it going. He's got 16 points. You know, it's just 16 minutes and 50 seconds of game time until I can update your Wikipedia page with that trivia.
I appreciate that. I've got all kinds of trivia for you, Mike. Just pay attention, take notes.
Jones inside, pestered by Plumlee. His deflection turns into a steal. 7th turnover for the Aggies, down 50-27.
And this is the key to Duke. Duke's going to be able to score. Can they defend consistently? That will determine if they're going to make another championship run come March.
Plumlee gets the one-on-one, backs down with the shoulder and scores with a left hook.
I say that Plumlee's a little bit like Brian Zubek, but he's a much better offensive player. He can finish over his right and left shoulder. He's got a little bit better bounce than Zubek, the former Duke center.
Allen fighting for the loose ball, hits the deck as it rolls out of bounds. The Duke bench happy with the effort from Allen.
Duke has been dominating defensively, but when they put it down low to Marshall Plumlee, look how patient he is. He works his defender. He can finish over the right shoulder, the left shoulder. Duke has come out with a great sense of purpose defensively and a punch.
It's the 5th year in the Utah State program for head coach Tim Duryea, but just his first at the helm. It's always hard to replace a legend, and he replaces Stu Morrill, who really made a name for this Utah State program.
Stu Morrill is one of the really great basketball coaches we had in the game. He's a terrific offensive coach. He's won everywhere he's been, did an unbelievable job at Utah State, made the Spectrum one of the toughest places in all of college basketball to work. He's a disciple of the Mike Montgomery coaching tree.
And Greg Marshall, the head coach at Wichita State, said that it's the best I've ever seen. I've been to Duke, I've been to Kentucky, UConn, and Syracuse. That's saying a lot.
The Spectrum is a great environment to play college basketball, and they've got great, passionate home fans. Their students embrace and empower their team, and it's a tough place to win.
As is Cameron Indoor.
You think?
Utah State looking for their first win over a ranked team since 2007. Right now down 52-27.
Utah State going back to that 1-1-3 zone, looking to try to trap the basketball on the baseline in the short corner in this defense.
Second foul on Lou Evans. Team foul number 4 against the Aggies. In the second half, Duke 5 of 5 from the floor.
They're running Grayson Allen along this baseline. They're either going to get him a shot. Oh, they got him a shot or get a post feed.
3 sets of hands in there. It was Ingram who tipped it back up to the basket. 2 free throws coming for the freshman from Kinston, North Carolina.
It is really important in a big picture for Coach K to get Brandon Ingram going. Now, he's different than Jahlil Okafor and Justice Winslow and Tyus Jones because he's not physically as mature. So this is going to be a process as this season goes along. In terms of his skill set and his potential, it's off the charts. He's part of another terrific recruiting class, and the recruiting class they have coming in this coming year. My guy Paul Biancardi, he would be very disappointed, Cousins, on you if you didn't at least take the time to mention that they had the #2 rated recruiting class in college basketball behind Kentucky with Giles and Tatum and Jackson coming in. That's a big-time recruiting class.
Some of the best players in the country. Unfortunately, Harry Giles at #1 has a torn ACL for the 2nd time in his high school career, so he won't suit up with Oak Hill Academy this season.
Seems like Duke and Kentucky, it's an arms race in recruiting.
Five minutes gone here in the half. Rector penetrates, fades, and scores.
Rector has that ability to break you down off the bounce. He can create separation. He's got to make good decisions, but I think potentially you're going to see the ball in Rector's hands and maybe even Perkins off the ball with Smith.
Allen was posting up earlier on the possession. Got it up top. Jones. Nobody guards him. Why not? %62% of his points this year have come on threes. Can't leave him open like that.
Really good patience, Jones. He got some room and rhythm. He set his feet. He's a big shot maker. Once again, good recognition by Duke. Duke's ability to be patient and get the shot they want. Good dribble penetration. Try to get a paint touch. See how Jones moves to an open spot. Poor closeout by Utah State, but Matt Jones has the ability to read the defense, but what he really brings to this team is maturity and toughness. He defends the other team's best player, and he has great leadership skills. Coach K said when he's out of practice, you can see a genuine drop-off of their intensity defensively and their approach to the game.
And on a team like that this year, Mike Krzyzewski has said this team is going to take a little bit more nurturing than his squads have in years past, which he looks forward to. It's a different type of challenge. Plumlee keeps his hands up. Evans at 6'9", gets it from the right block.
And we saw that in the VCU game in Madison Square Garden. Duke was struggling early. Coach K called a timeout. A more mature team, he might have challenged in a different way. I wouldn't say nurturing, but he didn't counsel them as aggressively as he might have a more mature team.
What he said during the week is he's pleased with their effort. They're paying attention. It's just the inconsistencies of having a young team and not knowing who's going to come up big on any given night.
Isn't that the culture of college basketball at the very highest level? You've got to get, instead of guys coming in and better understanding their roles and learning what college basketball is all about, you've got to get these elite players ready in 4 months. They come in July, and it's fast forward. I mean, the whole process is accelerated. And what happens, Mike, is kind of like you and me. Every once in a while, you got to unplug me, plug me back in, and reboot me. Well, these freshmen right here, they're going to hit the wall eventually. And Coach K's got to kind of unplug them, plug them back in, reboot them, and get them ready for the second half of the season. That will happen sometime in the beginning of January.
It's always good. I like the tech support to college basketball analogy. That may be the
first. Like that? Is that a good one?
It's good. I like that. It's always the first solution.
You can unplug me at any time you like, by the way.
Whenever it's frozen, have you restarted yet? Kennard comes off the screen. He likes the three. And he gets going. Kennard has 15 after dropping 12 on Wednesday against Yale.
How confidently did he shoot that basketball? Stepped his defender off, created a little separation. Watch him come off of this screen. He's patient. He curls the screen. Watch his feet. This is really good for young players. This little bump on the baseline, but he had his feet set, on balance, feet underneath. That's a guy that's shooting it confidently and feels good about his stroke.
A pure scorer. He's got his family here today while Duke is on Thanksgiving break, and they've been to a lot of his games this year.
Are those the ones with the Kennard jerseys?
It's pretty obvious to see.
Great observation by your Cousins.
Step back for Smith. He's got it. You know, the elevated perch makes life a lot easier.
You're like a clairvoyant.
And you said I was the one using big words. Jeter just picked up his second foul. Played his high school hoops with Steven Zimmerman, the freshman star at UNLV.
That'd be a bad game of schedule to do a high school game.
Two top 10 players. Getting inside, scores off the window. That's where he's best.
He's got to get used to the speed of the game, and he's got to slow himself down a little bit, but he does have the ability to finish and score around the basket.
Thornton with the lob. A little too high for Jeter. Jefferson tracks it down in the backcourt for the Blue Devils, up 62-36.
When you think about one and dones, when you think about Duke and Kentucky and maybe even Kansas, but you look at Emil Jefferson as a senior and look at the manner in which he played, his maturity, and what he brings to this basketball team.
Kennard keeps rolling, 17 for number 5.
Luke Kennard, step back threes, curls. He's got it all today. This is huge for him coming into the ACC Big Ten Challenge.
Going baseline. And it's a goaltending call as Jefferson and Jeter converged.
Luke Kennard, he's shown the complete repertoire. He can shoot the three, he can drive it to traffic, and he's also got the little step back. Luke Kennard, one of the best freshmen in college basketball, stepping his game up against Utah State.
Tuesday night, Seth, I don't know about you, but I will be firmly planted on the couch for this doubleheader, the Big Ten ACC Challenge, brought to you by the U.S. Marine Corps. It's Virginia, Ohio State, 7:30, and Maryland, North Carolina at 9:30 Eastern on ESPN. Marcus Page questionable there. That is a prime matchup with the Terps and the Tar Heels.
You'll be on the couch. I'll be holding Jay Will's hand in the studio. But, you know, this is a Maryland team. Melo Trimble. He's as good as it gets in college basketball coming off that high ball screen. He's almost impossible to guard because if you step out and hedge, he goes right at you. He's going to shoot 300 free throws this year just by attacking that ball screen. Maryland, a very complete team. The question, will their bigs be able to run the floor with Kennedy Meeks? Kennedy Meeks is in not good shape. He's in kind of shape you're in, Cousins.
Well, I don't want to say he's in very bad shape because that would be the answer there.
I know, you're kind of like built like Kennard. Don't have his jumper.
Do not. Luke Kennard, 17 points, 3 of 4 from three-point range. It's a new career high for him in game number 7 of his young college career. 64-38, the Blue Devils on their way to 6-1. Jeter tiptoes the baseline with the rebound. Thornton leads the breakaway. Dribble into the lane. Kennard, 16-footer. Fight for the loose ball. Smith comes up with it.
That's a senior just taking it away from a freshman.
And Perkins throws it out of bounds.
And that last play where Smith just overpowers Brandon Ingram. I mean, that's where Brandon Ingram is a work in progress. He has the instinct to pursue the basketball, but he's just not physically strong enough against the senior. These are great minutes right now for these young Duke kids to get better feel, play together, make sure you get good shots, defend consistently. This is a great learning experience for these young guys right now.
Ingram got caught up in the air and had nowhere to go with it. Perkins takes it the other way and makes the Blue Devils pay. But what you've got here on the floor, Seth, is you've got 4 freshmen, and really 3 freshmen and a high school senior in Thornton bring it up, who reclassified, and then Jefferson, the senior.
And Ingram's got to learn how to play on balance, not leave his feet. There's a little saying coaches say you leave your feet to shoot and can pass, but you can't leave your feet to pass and shoot. Ingram left his feet on that play, right, to pass the ball. Can't do it. Great play again right there. The patience in the low post. Emil Jefferson, a year ago, he just rebounded and defended. Now the Blue Devils can play through him, showing terrific patience in the low ball. Reminds me a little bit of Lance Thomas.
He's been a rock of their program here early going, averaging 12 and 11 playing 30 minutes a game. Right now 12 points, 7 rebounds, shooting 6 of 7 from the floor. Make it 3 on that play there.
Thomas was a high-energy guy for the Blue Devils national championship team, and this is going to be a different look now. Now watch as this game develops now. Ingram is going to slide to 4. Watch how much more active and more involved he is at the 4 when he has a better matchup that he can tack off the dribble.
All up in the air, down to Ingram. Thornton, Allen, Ingram, Jeter, and Kennard on the floor for Duke. Foul on the floor. Foul penetration from Grayson Allen into the paint. Fourth personal on Perry.
Yeah, it's not where you are, it's where you're going. I mean, everyone gets kind of overreacts to early season wins or losses. We've seen a lot of upsets in college basketball early in the season, but what coaches are using these games on, especially at the high level, they're using these games as fact-finding missions. They're using these games to learn more about their teams, who they are and how they win, so that when the semester's over and you've got your players for 3-4 weeks with nothing else but just basketball and games, you can fine-tune and kind of reinvent yourselves to find out what you need to do as you enter league play. So these games, as much as you want to win, whether you're Utah State or Duke or Miami the other day against Northeastern, you want to do is you want to kind of understand who you are and really understand your weaknesses. And that's what all coaches around the country are trying to do right now.
What do you think right now are the biggest questions that Mike Krzyzewski has about his team?
I think rotations. I think that Ingram is best suited to play 4, but can he rebound the basketball? You like to play Thornton with the ball in his hands because it frees up Jones and Allen. And at times, he overhandles the basketball.
Allen to the rim! Here comes Thornton. He rises and cannot connect. Ingram drops it off. Allen's got 22. Timeout, Utah State.
Terrific pass by Ingram. That's where he's at his best, when he's at 4. He uses size to look over the defense. But Grayson Allen, on the ball, off the ball, pushing it in transition. Terrific athlete. Good roll up right there by Plumlee, and then Allen takes it the rest of the way. He's got a great combination. He's physically strong. He can come off screens. He can play without the ball. He can shot fake you and lift you. And that's why he's so hard to play against, because if you close hard on him, he's going to drive it. He does a nice job of running the floor, and he's as good coming off screens as maybe any player in the country. And I know all the Kentucky fans right now are going, well, he didn't do it against Isaiah Briscoe. And he did it, because Isaiah Briscoe's a terrific defender. But Grayson Allen is a really good player, and he's going to be in the Player of the Year discussion because he's a volume scorer that is going to be involved each and every play for the Duke Blue Devils.
Leading the ACC in scoring entering today's play, ahead of Dwayne Bacon at Florida State, another tremendous freshman, and Demetrius Jackson at Notre Dame. 73-40.
Florida State, you said Florida State? Beasley and Bacon.
Oh, they're going to be good.
But you talk about a bunch of bookend wings. I mean, Luke Beasley and Bacon are big, long, athletic. I really like Florida State. The ACC just in general, Mike, is really deep. I mean, really, Miami's playing at a high level. How about Jim Larranaga? They've got the Bank United Center sold out. Sold out. I coached at Miami back in the day when they brought back basketball. We played in a theater. I mean, it was, you know, it was the wine and cheese crowd. Now, they got that place sold out. Jim Larranaga's done a terrific job at Miami.
And for as much as we talk about the great recruiting class coming here for 2016, what Leonard Hamilton has hauled in the last couple of years maybe goes a little bit under the radar, but they're very good.
Leonard Hamilton is really good. When you were recruiting against Leonard Hamilton, it was most dangerous when you didn't see it. You knew he was getting stuff done.
Ingram from the top, gives off for Thornton. It rolls off the rim for the freshman out of Findlay Prep in Nevada. Duke has run away with it here in the second half, up by 33. You got a jump ball underneath, and it stays at this end of the floor.
I've been where Tim Dury has been, and quite honestly, the first time I came here, I was where he was. The score was about the way it is, and about 2 minutes left, I said, you know, I've seen enough. It's time for me to leave. But the most important thing you're trying to do with your team right now is get them to the next play. You got to make the net. You got to play the next play. You got to get a stop. You got to execute offensively. Because Utah State's going to be a good basketball team in a very good conference. I mean, you're talking about UNLV, improved, extremely athletic. New Mexico's got a good, solid basketball program under Noodles Neal. Cullen Neal is a terrific player. Watch out for Fresno State. They're my sleeper in the Mountain West.
3 on the shot clock. Long pull, gets the back of the iron. It's another rebound for Plumlee. 9 and 8 for him today. Top 2 preseason selections in the Mountain West. San Diego State and Boise State. Kennard has it taken away. Rector stripped it. Rector spins to the rim. Bounces off. Tip from Jones doesn't go. Out of bounds. Utah State basketball when we come back to Cameron Indoor Stadium.
Grayson Allen, he's an elite athlete. He runs the floor, and if you give him a lane to the hoop, he can punch it on you in a heartbeat. Grayson Allen, one of the best guards in college basketball. Duke in control.
Full day of hoops here on ESPNU. After this, UC Irvine against Evansville out in the Wooden Legacy Tournament. Boise State, Arizona at 4:30. Also here, and then tonight ESPN 2:10 Eastern. Michigan State and Providence. Look at the numbers. Denzel Valentine averaging 20 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists. Chris Dunn says, I can do that too. 19, 7 assists, 6 rebounds.
I'm interested to see how Tom Izzo decides to defend Chris Dunn. You've got to contain him in transition. And then when he gets in ball screens, I look for Izzo to really hard hedge and try to get the ball out of his hands. Be interesting to see how they try to contain Dunn, who is explosive off the dribble.
What about on the other side, trying to stop Valentine?
And Valentine's so good because he can play in the action, coming off screens. He shoots it quick. But when he gets a defensive rebound, it's a fast break waiting to happen. He's kind of Magic-esque because of his size and his ability to look over the defense. And then that's kind of like the hors d'oeuvres. So I guess it's actually dessert because it's feast week. And then we have another dinner next week at the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Your squad, by the way, the Orange.
Syracuse off to a very good start.
You think?
And now a little bit happier that they'll get a scholarship back.
I'll tell you, you know what the amazing thing is about you Syracuse guys? One, you're unbelievably loyal. Number 2 is that you're like doom and gloom, and then all of a sudden, my agent's a Syracuse guy. He's doom and gloom. I said, no, Syracuse can be pretty good. Tyler Lydon, he's a pro. I love that Ben Ajay, the former Duke Blue Devil, has been put to the point. You guys, until they prove it to you, the guy's only won. I don't care about the games they've taken away from him. He's coming, he's zeroing in on 1,000 wins.
Yes.
He knows what he's doing, that guy.
Vacated wins are another story.
Vacated wins. They won the games. They played the games. Enough.
They count. Tyler Lydon has been massively impressive in the interior of that 2-3 zone there with Dajuan Coleman coming back from injury, not yet at full speed, and has helped carry Syracuse as they went through their tournament down in the battle for Atlanta.
So skilled offensively, Tyler Lydon. He can shoot the 3, he can drive it, he's got a great feel.
How about Brandon Ingram? There's talk about this team developing, and Ingram is part of that as he drives the lane, now has 6. He is not going to put on 25 pounds by the time March rolls around. So what's going to be the difference for him?
Well, I think when he plays 4, he has a matchup to his advantage. When he plays 4, you can't get underneath him. He's playing against a bigger defender. Now you pull that guy away from the basket, he can use his skill level to go by you. Here's a perfect example. Ingram at the 4 is a hard matchup. You pull a bigger defender away, he comes off this little bump, forces the closeout. Watch. Now at 6'8", he can put it on the ground, use his quickness and his length to score. Brandon Ingram, to me, is a really tough matchup at the 4. The key will be, can he rebound at the 4, and can he defend at the 4?
Which will only get tougher once the ACC schedule rolls around. Foul on Duke, Sean Obi, who's playing in his 2nd game of the season. Transfer from Rice. And Thornton comes back onto the floor as Jones takes his seat.
Obi's, when he was at Rice, he kind of rebounded like Pac-Man. He just gobbled rebounds up. I mean, he's a big-time rebounder. Has struggled offensively in this system. Did I date myself with the Pac-Man?
No, that's good.
Guys still play Pac-Man?
I don't know if they do, but I think everybody knows. At least if you went to an arcade when you were young.
Go Google.
11-1 run for Duke. As long as you stay away from the Atari, I think you've kept up with the younger crowd.
I appreciate that. Good looking after me.
Closing it on 6 minutes. Ingram with a drive and a pull-up.
And that is another perfect example of Ingram at the 4, using his quickness, his ability to face up and attack a front court defender.
Foul on Thornton. That's his 4th. Now Ingram, the number 3 player in the ESPN 100 class of 2015. You pair him in the freshman focus with Scalabrine at Kentucky and Ben Simmons at LSU. Those are 3 formidable players making an impact immediately with their respective teams.
Labissiere is just going to continue to get better. He's a terrific off-ball defender, ball screen defender. He's learning to be a low-post scorer. And Ben Simmons, and I know people are tired of us talking about him, but he's just so fun to watch. He rebounds the basketball. He reminds me a little bit of LeBron and Magic, his ability to push the ball, read all 5 defenders. He's got to improve his ability to make shots, but he is really a fun player to watch.
Oh, so it's okay when you make a LeBron James reference, huh?
Well, I mean, we weren't comparing Grayson Allen to LeBron. I mean, now we got a 6'9" point forward in Ben Simmons. All right. You're right. You're right. I'm wrong.
I was only comparing the hook shot. I very much agree with you on the skill set comparison between Simmons and LeBron James. It's a moving screen called on Kennard, his first personal foul.
You've got to remain still. That's it. Everyone talks about the new rules in physical play. Physical play is also in screening. You've got to come to a stop and be stationary when you set that screen.
Jones trapped on the edge, tries to drive by Obi, and a foul as he goes to the floor. Number 3 against Obi.
The one thing about that Mountain West Conference, you talk about some tough travel. That conference is no joke. I mean, and tough places to play. I mean, San Diego State, maybe as tough a place to play as in the country. Not only because they've got great fans, which they have the best in the Mountain West, but because they are really talented and they defend you every possession. You go to the Pit in New Mexico, you go to the Thomas and Mack, you go to Wyoming, one of the tougher places to play in the Mountain West. It's really, really a very good coaches league, a tough travel league, and some great environments and atmospheres.
Kennard looks for the screen from Jeter. Foul from Trace Curitan on the perimeter. The senior from Indianapolis at Cathedral High School. His first team's 8th.
Utah State traveled about 100 people to this basketball game. And I think it's one of those things that as a program, to come to Duke, to play in Cameron, watching those guys in shoot around yesterday and their practice yesterday, they're taking pictures at the D. They're taking pictures of all the banners. When I used to bring my teams in here, I used to bring in the practice at home, bring them in the night before, especially the freshmen, and say, now, all right, check out all the banners. You can take the pictures. You can do all you can do. And understand, we're not playing against any of those guys. All right? We got to worry about the guys that we're going to play against. But it is an experience. And, this is a special place and great tradition to play against a Hall of Fame coach. It's one of those things that these kids will remember.
When you came in here the first time as a coach, was it an intimidating experience?
No, because I came as an assistant. I was an assistant at Virginia. It was only intimidating when we were down about 30 and we hadn't shot a free throw yet.
Jones from the wing finds himself inside the arc. Now back up top for Thornton straight away. Kennard forced out of the shot. Three-pointer rattles it home. Kennard 22.
What do you have for Thanksgiving? Because whatever he had, he needs to have a little more of.
Moore gets a good look from three. And the troubles continue from deep for Utah State, down 82-43.
You see Jalen Moore, his dad is an associate athletic director at Utah State. In fact, he was on the staff at Utah State when I was an assistant coach at Long Beach State. And he made the trip with their team, and how proud he has to be about for his kids. Not just Jalen, but Grayson, his other son. And both kids are terrific players, but the dad was a really good player. Over 1,000-point scorer, a terrific rebounder, and a great legacy right there for Utah State.
Jimmy played there 1972 to 1975 and finished his career with 1,164 points. And his sons carrying on his name for the Aggies. Jeter at the free throw line when we come back with Duke on their way to 6-1.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. Dave & Buster's, eat, drink, play, watch sports. And Alka-Seltzer Plus, day, cold, and flu.
Make memories this season. Shop thousands of Cyber Week deals in-store and online. Only at Sports Authority.
Coming up next, we'll get to see Mamadou Ndiaye, 7'6". Dino, how does he not have 1,200 rebounds a game?
Well, he might. Remember, they almost took down Louisville in the NCAA tournament last year, a close game.
It's UC Irvine and Evansville coming up next. Effort at Cameron Indoor. That's it.
Looking forward to that one. My cousin Seth Greenberg with you, 82-43. Number 6 Duke on the lead with 3:49 left in the game.
Hey, Dino, we're watching this game from up top. I'll tell you what's a lot less stressful watching the game from up here than sitting where Tim Duryea is. I can tell you that much.
Not going to be an easy one. Whoever comes in here at Utah State with a loss would fall to 4-1 under their first-year head coach.
Coaching's a tough job these days. You can win 9 football games and get the zig. I mean, it is unbelievable. Les Miles on the hot seat. Mark Ripp. What is going on? Do people think winning 9 games is easy?
You like this view up here? You have not sat the whole game. I've been very impressed by that.
I kind of like this vantage point, to be honest with you. There's no stress after the game. I'm going to be able to eat and actually taste the food. You know, I'll go back and watch the film when I feel like it. Get to hang out in Bristol with Jay Will. I mean, life is good.
Are you going to start wearing vests like he does?
No, he's got the swag. You know, I keep on telling him, you got to wear fitted suits. I said, this body's not built for fitted suits. I look like a pear.
That's how you can keep eating whatever you want. You don't have to worry about wearing a fitted suit.
Sitting up here, I didn't have to worry about working out this morning, which I did, because it's about 110 degrees. Like, it's a great old building. We throw a little air conditioning in here.
3:30 to play here in the game. You talk about coaches. Mark Richt getting fired at Georgia. It's been absolutely insane the last couple of weeks between rumors of Les Miles' demise at LSU, and he gets carried off the field last night.
That was cool, wasn't it?
It was nice to see, but it shouldn't have happened. That's the thing, is if Duke doesn't win a national title, no one's saying we want Mike Krzyzewski gone.
But I'll tell you one thing, when Coach K took this job, if that was today and he had the first 3 years he had, there might not be a Coach K court. There might not be 1,000 wins, because back then, administrations were patient and gave people an opportunity to do their jobs. And expectation wasn't so unrealistic that 9-3, yeah, you lost some games, maybe your teams wished you won, but that's a pretty good record. And when you recruit well and your program has done the right things on and off the field, it's tough.
Jalen Moore there with the bucket helps break about an 8-minute scoring drop for Utah State. Thornton with a quick drive and gets 2 off the window. His first 2 points of the afternoon after he came off the bench for this game. We talk about recruiting too. I think a lot of people may be under the impression, as there's a whistle under the basket, Antonio Vrankovic, the freshman from Florida, with the foul. There's an impression perhaps that because of the class that Duke had last year and the departures for the NBA, that Mike Krzyzewski is recruiting different players, but that's not really the case.
It's the culture of college basketball. You're going to recruit the best players in the country, The reality is that there's a good chance that they're not going to be there the next year. And it's not because they're Brandon Ingram. He is a terrific prospect. But the NBA is a futures market. And guys get drafted on their potential, not where they are, but where they're going. And whether it's Coach K or whether it's Coach Self or John Calipari out there, it's not easy to, one, to recruit a whole team each and every year. And it's surely not easy to get a young group of guys to trust each other, to compete, and to play to win. And that's why Coach K and Cal and Bill, Tom Izzo, these guys do it better than anyone there is. I mean, what Tom Izzo's been able to do is just, to me, remarkable. How hard they play, how much they trust each other, and how they continue to get better as the season goes along. 501 wins now for Izzo?
I don't know the exact number.
That's pretty good.
Thornton at the free throw line. This is the back end. The roommate of Chase Jeter, one of the star freshmen in this class.
Duke goes a little zone.
And it turns into 3 points for Chris Smith, the leading scorer on the year, who's largely been silenced today. Now up to 13. We're under 2 minutes to play.
Coach K's gone deep into the bench. And this is really good because you've had your team here all the Thanksgiving. Your players have missed Thanksgiving with their families. This is really difficult. This time of the year is really hard on your basketball team. Think about this. They're going to have a break for Christmas. That will be the last time these players get a chance to go home until after the NCAA tournament. These guys probably got here in July. They've been here through Thanksgiving. They'll get a couple of days probably during Christmas. And then from there on out, right, it's school and basketball.
It's a lot of a mental dedication to be able to consistently excel at a high level. That comes up short. Nick Paliuka, the junior, with the rebound. They're playing in his 17th career game today. Now a minute 15 to play at Cameron Indoor. Duke on its way to 6-1.
How many times did you go home when you were in school?
Rarely. I was usually calling either a men's or a women's basketball game over the break.
You're so big time. I forget.
Now the schedule coming up here. It's Indiana up next for the Blue Devils.
And I love Indiana. They've struggled in Hawaii, but that's going to be a very good basketball team. And people just totally unfair to Tom Crean right now. He's done a good job. He's added some pieces. They've recruited well.
Whoa. Strong finish from Perry going baseline. And it's been the mob mentality, too, for Tom Crean, don't you think? We were talking about with football coaches.
The hardest thing is when you lose momentum. It is hard to regain momentum from your fan base. And it's really unfair because he basically rebuilt the program. He's gotten to the tournament. Last year he did a great job coaching that team in a style that put him in position to win some games. That Duke-Indiana game will be a very good basketball game.
Be a nice matchup as we've seen the post players, Hunley, Jefferson, get better and better this season against Thomas Bryant for Indiana.
And, this will be a great learning experience for this Utah State team that's going to play one more game on the road, and then when they get into league play, they're going to be very competitive in the Mountain West.
Moore with the left, doesn't get it. Brankovic the rebound, and that does it. It's Duke 85 and Utah State 52 as the Blue Devils win their NCAA best 120th straight non-conference home game and improve to 6-1.
Coach K wanted to see his team compete on the defensive end. He wanted to see them to be alert and make Utah State react to them defensively, and he did just that. And offensively, getting Luke Kennard on track in terms of a big picture is huge for the Blue Devils.
Kennard had 12 in their last game today, a game-high 22, shooting 4 of 5 from deep. And Grayson Allen had 22, followed by Emil Jefferson with 13 points and 9 rebounds. The Blue Devils 6-1, with the Hoosiers up next as they turn the page into December. the Aggies fall to 4-1. So for our entire crew here, my partner Seth Greenberg, Mike Cousins saying thanks for watching so long from Durham. Now we send you to the studio to get you caught up on the day's action. Dino Gaudio with Matt Schick.